scores of homeless people to shelters around the country in an effort to curb the spread of the coronavirus. In Tshwane, people are being housed at the Lyttelton sports ground in Centurion. That's where we find our reporter Sipho Stuurman this morning. He is joining the city's compliance administrator, Lebogang Mahaye, on a visit to the facility. Let's get the very latest. Sipho, a very good morning to you. What are you learning this morning there with regards to this facility?
Well, a very good morning to you and our viewers at home. You're quite right. City Tshwane officials have come here to the Centurion sports ground to visit the homeless that are based here, of course, since the lockdown for their own safety. And you can see with the visuals here, scores of them are just relaxing in the sun and playing a game of football, and of course trying to adhere to the lockdown regulations. Now city officials are here to monitor their health and safety standards within these grounds. We know some of the homeless people, of course, they are addicted to a lot of substances, and they are showing now withdrawal symptoms, so they do need assistance, and this is what the city is here to try and assist with. And as you mentioned there, I have the compliance administrator from Tshwane, Lebogang Mahaye. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your time. You've come here as city officials to inspect and monitor if the homeless here are being taken care of and that they are living, that they are in good health as they are living here in this sports ground.
Yes, thank you. We do regular inspections to just come and see to observe, their living conditions, because as you know, we move them from Caledonian Stadium and we move them to here at Lyttelton to just make sure that they are secured. In terms of the COVID-19, we have to ensure that we keep them safe. But also, these are special circumstances because the site that we have, that we're in now, which is Lyttelton, it's mostly people who are addicted to drugs. So as the city, we had to come up with interventions. And some of our interventions is just to administer medication that will help with the withdrawal symptoms. The type of medication we're giving them is known as methadone. It helps with withdrawal symptoms. It helps with, psychologically as well, just giving them that ability to be able to be normal social beings again and back to their normal thinking capacity again.
All right. Now I understand we have about 320 people here. So are they adhering to the regulations? We talk about issues of social distancing. We're talking about, keeping up a high hygiene standards, regularly washing your hands, sanitizing your hands. Are those safety precautionary measures being provided for?
Yes, of course we are. As you can see behind me, there's a tent that we have provided where some of the homeless people are sleeping in. And on that side, we have some of the tents as well, just to ensure that there's the space for them to observe that social distancing. And of course, we also give them sanitizers. We ensure that we provide them with showering facilities. We give them amenities to be able to shower. Yesterday, the MEC was here to ensure that they also get alternative clothing so that they can change, because when we brought them here, they didn't even have a change of clothes.
All right. You mentioned all these supposedly good services that you are providing, but we've seen over the weekend images of some of the homeless people trying to escape from here. So how are you addressing the issue of the homeless escaping from this complex here? And what do you think is the basis for that? Why are some of them running away from here?
Like I said, these are not normal circumstances. You are dealing with people who are addicted to drugs and people who have been living on the streets for a long time. So obviously to get them to be in one space and, it's not easy. So yes, we did have incidents where a number of them tried to escape. In fact, when they do escape, they take some of the items that we give them, like your mattresses, your blankets. And the intention for that is that they will sell them, buy drugs. And once the drugs have been used up, they come back and the whole thing continues again. But what we've done is to ensure that we up the security. As you can see around you, we have a razor wire, we have Metro Police guarding the area, because we're not only concerned with the security inside the facility, but we're also concerned about the security outside, because this is a residential area. So we have to also take care of our residents and make sure that they don't become a nuisance to the residents.
All right, and just finally from yourself, talk to us about it's 21 days of lockdown. We were this was supposed to be the last day before the president announced the extension, but of course this is where we are right now. How would you say Tshwane residents overall have been adhering to the regulations? As the administrators in Tshwane, what have been the challenges, not just with the homeless people, but Tshwane as a whole?
Well, you would know that some of our communities are adhering to the regulations. Some people are staying home, but we do have elements, within the community that are not taking the virus serious. And they have not been observing the regulations. We've got people who are just wandering around, people who insist on going on with their normal lives. And the messages that we've been sending across is that, the virus is real. And if you're going to expose yourself to the virus, think about your loved ones, because you are not only infecting yourself, but there's a risk that you will also be infecting your loved ones at home. The law enforcement agencies just have to deal with those ones that are not observing the law.
But generally, you would say Tshwane residents are complying. What's your assessment?
Generally, yes, they are all complying. There are just a few challenges here and there, but we're managing those.
All right. Thank you very much. That's Lebogang Mahaye, the compliance administrator here in Tshwane. And I don't know, Blaine, if I have a few minutes, maybe I can just get one of the gentlemen that stays there is one of the homeless that has been housed here, to just get a take on how life has been living here in this Centurion sports ground. If you can just please give me your name, sir. You tell me that you've been on the streets for almost 10 years and now you moved here with about 320 others. How has life been for you here?
Hi, my name is Oyama Faye. Okay, Baba, we've been living here from the first day we came here. So life is hard, Baba. As we are smoking drugs, but there's a place called COSAP. COSAP is helping us by the methadone. So if we drink methadone, not too much things, we don't think to go home. You see, methadone do things for us to be easy, Baba. So too much challenges. Some of us they're not smoking, but now we are like first day we are in Caledonia. We are like 1,000 people. So Tshwane move us from here. So now we are like 320 people from here. So, but the guys, they are not okay. Some of them they're okay. Some of them they're not okay.
So when you say they are not okay, what are the issues? Is it a withdrawal symptoms from the drugs? Just give us an example of what are the concerns. How are they not okay?
So it's like some of them they are not smoking nyaupe. Some of them are smoking cocaine. So the withdrawals they are not fine. So when you are living drug, you have to eat too much. You see, Terry. So my guys, they're not eating fry. We are fighting for food. They are fighting for food. They just bring small plates for them. So we are asking anyone, can you please help my guys? You see, Jerry, my guys, they are crying too much.
Okay, so you want more food. But then, as I was asking the administrator here, there are people that were trying to escape. What's your take on that? Because these are people that you are living with here. Those people that were trying to escape. Do you understand why they were doing that, or is it something that you frown upon?
Yeah, I do understand. Some of them, they are still having. Some of us. You can tell yourself, I want to leave drugs, ne? But some of them, they don't tell that they want to leave drugs. You see, Baba. Some of them, they're still smoking drugs. So you can't stop. You can't tell me, just leave drug now. I can leave drug now. You see, Baba. Some of them do want to escape, to go smoke drugs. So some of them, they took these things they give us, blankets. They just go, they buy rekisa, but tola chelete, banya go to Baha, and tola general yak. So, Baba Leang, Babu Ahab. Mararuna Retang, Rabajigi Soring, Bastard Police, one time. Reclautuela Ubali, the Ubalenga Kamont, with a diverse thing, Corona, General.
And just lastly, it does seem that have you guys received any education around the coronavirus, issues around social distancing? Are you well informed about this virus?
No, General. We don't have any informed. We are just staying here. We're asking for the TV also as to know what's happening about the coronavirus. We don't know. People just tell us, the president is 2 weeks more. Today we have to go home. People are asking me, when are we going home? Are we going home today? I'm telling them, the president tell us there's 2 weeks more. They don't believe us. How are we going to believe people? Because as we don't know. People are just telling us about the amount.
All right. Thank you very much, my guy. Well, there you have it, Blaine. There are still some challenges for the homeless that are stationed there. Issues of there isn't adequate food, but also lack of information about the regulations and issues such as the extension. But of course, the city tried to base them here for their own safety, making sure that they do at least receive a meal or two a day. They are wearing overalls, some of them, so there's also clothing that is being provided, and if my colleague can also just pan, you can just see that there are tents that are provided for them to stay under. But of course, it doesn't take away the major challenges that they are faced with, and the issue of drugs is quite a pertinent one because many of them are experiencing withdrawal symptoms, and that's why we've seen some of them trying to escape from there, of course looking for that fix. And now security around Centurion sports ground has been boosted as a result of that. But yes, there are medical officers on the ground trying to assist those that have withdrawal symptoms. And with that, Blaine, it's back to you.
Yeah, a very frank discussion you just had there, Sipho. As we wrap up, I mean, one of the major challenges that's glaring in front of the screen in front of me now is the social distancing issues when you look behind you there. Also, I mean, you said there was a soccer match that's being played. Isn't that even allowed? How's that working out? Have the people there been screened or tested in any way?
Yeah, that's one of the issues, because the gentleman mentioned that there isn't a great deal of information that's coming to the homeless here. So issues of social distancing, you can have an idea that they're not very well informed about that. And we also know that there hasn't been a great deal of testing for COVID. What they have been offered is simply treatment for their, drug withdrawal symptoms, but there hasn't necessarily been a drive to test them for COVID-19. And also, what's also concerning is what they say, that they don't have any means of communication here. They don't know. There's no radio or television services, so they just heard by hearsay that, there's an extension by the president, but nobody formally informed them to tell them there's an extension. What does that extension mean? So there are gaps in this intervention, and gaps that perhaps officials need to come and address. And of course, the issue of food, that there isn't adequate food, that is also another gap that needs to be addressed. So certainly there are gaps, as you mentioned there. Lots of people around me. I don't see anybody with gloves or mask around here. And they are playing football. That is a contact sport. So is that allowed in these times? Those are questions that we need to pose to officials. But certainly, this is an intervention to try and help the homeless, but there are challenges.
Yeah, indeed, challenges. Thank you very much indeed for giving us an insight of what they're going through at this time. Sipho Stuurman coming to us live from Tshwane. We thank you very much indeed. We'll try to get back to Sipho in the next hour or so. All right, from Gauteng.